Hi coloring friends and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have actually a tag video for you, and the tag is called Adult Coloring Tag June Ducks, and I was tagged by the lovely Jade from the Happy Colorist Jade. Yeah, if you don't know her channel, I will link obviously her channel and her video in the info box below, so check it out. And you know, she was absent for a couple of years, and now she just returned to our beautiful coloring community on YouTube. And so if you are rather new, it could be that you don't know her yet, and please do me a favor, head over to her channel, say hello to her, welcome her back, and see if there's something that you like. She's starting off with some haul videos, you know, she was not, I think not so much coloring the last couple of years, was going on, private stuff, all this good stuff. So, and now she's calming down and starting with coloring again, starting to make videos again, and obviously also starting to buy coloring books. So she's putting up the books that she's just getting now. She is coming up with like her opinion on the pastel tint from Castle Art, Color and Chat, and all the good stuff. So, and the originator of this beautiful tag, which is quite old actually, was Erin from the Simple Art for Adults. I could not find her video for that. I don't even know if she did a separate video for it or just mentioned it in some of her streams or so. Don't know that, so I cannot link this video. And yeah, what is this tag all about? Let me shortly explain, because the name is maybe not precise. However, in this tag video, we will I'm going to show you my first coloring pages, what I've started with, and where I have come to. So I will show you some of my very early colorings that I did, some in between to show you the journey that I went through, and then some of my most recent colorings. So yeah, that you can see the comparison of these. And you know, I'm just back from my vacation, in which I got this lovely jar here. So isn't that cute? So I was a little bit, absent as well. You know that I always need some breaks. Was on vacation just recently. Now I'm back, and I hope I will find enough time to come up with new videos. Next week you will see my completed coloring pages video for the second quarter, so that's coming up next week. And then we will have like the typical what's in the bag video. I want to have like a review of the first half year coloring wise, and maybe an update on my 10 books to finish challenge and some nice stuff. I also have a ton of video material with coloring stuff. I also, before I went to vacation, filmed the video for the embellishments, which I still have to edit, and it's a ton of material. I made it maybe a little bit too complicated for myself. But yeah, just to give you a little bit of channel updates. And now I think I will get started actually. So have a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm happy to have you today. So I have those two products lying around here. This is my first set of pencils that I've started with, and this was the first book that I colored in. So let me just start with the set of pencils. This is the Prismacolor Premier 72 count set of colored pencils. And when I started coloring, I actually, you know, like it always starts, you get this thought in your head, but you're not quite sure if you will like it, if you really want to go this way. So I put this set on my wish list on Amazon, and then it stayed there for a while. When I put it on there, it was about 80 euros for this set. And then someday it dropped down to 45 euros. So this makes actually 50 cents for one pencil, which is quite cheap. And I knew that this set would be very good because it was recommended from artists. I was always interested in illustration and this kind of stuff. So I knew that I knew that these Prismacolors were recommended by actually artists or people who like to color with colored pencils. And when this price dropped this tremendously, yeah, I got it, of course. I just got this set of pencils. This is actually just my spare set of pencils, so all the doubles that I've got, because just later when I actually found out that I really enjoy coloring and these pencils here, I got the 150 set. So this is just my replacements, all the doubles that I have from the 72 count set. And yeah, I have to say that these pencils last me quite long, even though I'm coloring a whole lot with Prismacolors. These are I would say one of my favorites when it comes to colored pencil. And you all know that I'm a pencil girl. So, and then this is the first book that I colored in. It's Traumhaftes Asien by Shachanak Wang, and it's a German book. And the reason why I started with this book is actually because I like the images in this book, but not too much to be worried to mess it up. And this is actually the very first try out of the Prismacolor pencil, so I really hadn't had any coloring experience. And yeah, with mandalas, this is a mandala, and maybe this is a reason why I don't like to color mandalas, because it looks very ugly. But I found out that the laydown of the Prismacolor Premieres was very beautiful, very creamy. I liked it. I didn't do any blending on this. This was really just for the first time laying down those pencils to paper. And this was done in July of 2017. So this must be the time when I got those pencils. And then the first real image that I colored, on which I really tried to shade and which I put some effort in, was actually this double-page spread, which was also finished in August of 2017. So I have actually started my coloring journey in 2017. And yeah, this was done with the Prismacolor Premiere pencils. I tried to shade with them, and I've added a little bit of a glitter gel pen. Don't even know if you can see it. Just a little bit on those feathers. And this was my first double spread page, my first book. And then I just worked a little bit in this book. So I started some pages. Even back then I started pages, and sometimes I didn't finish them. So then there was kind of like a break, but it could be also that I just started pages and worked on them from time to time, because this double spread was finished in 2018. And what I want to say, if you're starting out to color, maybe a book with double spreads is not the perfect choice. Even though I have to say that I really like this book for the paper quality. So from the paper quality, this was actually quite nice. But to start only with double spreads, and in the beginning I only used pencils, so the whole background, so the whole pages are done with pencil only, no other medium involved here. It takes forever. And this one was also finished then in February of 2018. So, but I said to myself before I switched to other books, I really wanted to practice in this book. And so here's another started one, which I never finished. And I do have some of these in here. This one also started, never finished. Yeah, because, as I said, those double spreads are not the perfect choice for a beginner, I think. I think some smaller projects are just better. this is also some kind of mandala style, and this one I like a lot better. So let me actually zoom you in a little bit. I do like my color choices on this one much more. And yeah, the whole design of the mandala is much nicer, I think. And this was done with the Ursoft. And we have actually some more in this book. Let me just quickly check. I will zoom you out a little bit again. So then I do have these pages in here, and these I have because back then I watched Didi Willingham, and yeah, she went through, she showed books, especially her Kirby books, I think, and there she did acrylic washes. This obviously is not a wash. This was, I think, acrylic paint, but not watered down, so this is very sticky, and wasn't the best choice. But yeah, I saw it on a video and then I wanted to do that too. I did it, I think, at least one more time. Yeah, like here. So, and then I've got another started page here. And yeah, as I said, all the background back then I did it with pencils. So I didn't use other mediums actually. But therefore, it's not too bad. It's just, that nowadays, I prefer to use other mediums for the backgrounds because this takes so much time, and I don't know, I get bored when I have to spend too much time on a page. But these were my very first colored pages actually, and yeah, let me show you actually some other ones. So one artist that I started to color in was actually Hannah Lynn. So Hannah Lynn was one of the artists that I started my coloring journey with, and I have to say that I had a lot more fun actually in these books. Early on I found out that I like to color like people or characters. And yeah, let me just show you this image. This was from March 2018. And I just see that I haven't colored in the little border here. What's going on here? I have to do that. But I colored this image here with the Lyra Rembrandt colors. So, always when we start a new hobby, we tend to buy a lot of stuff. But the pencil doesn't matter so much. What I did on this page was actually that I laid down two layers of color, and then I just blended it in or burnished it with the Lyra Splendor blender. Let me see if I have it. So here it is, the Lyra Splendor blender, which came with a set of pencils. And yeah, as I said, I put down 2 layers of color to place all the shading, and then just burnished everything with this pencil. And this is all pencil again, and I really enjoyed it. Also, the process wasn't too long because, as I said, just 2 layers. And what you can see actually here on this Hana Lin page, I have to zoom you in for that. I didn't do my button noises back then. When I started, I did my best coloring the skin, but no button noses in the beginning. So, keep that in mind, because nowadays you know that I work with, with button noses actually. So let me show you another page in here. And this I also finished or did in March 2018. Most of the time back then, when I started the page, I actually finished it. So I didn't switch around too much, I have to say. One of my early colorings in this book. No button nose here again. The whole page done with pencil only. So the whole page is done with pencil only, and no use of alcohol marker. So in the beginning, I just colored the pages, but without any alcohol marker, and then it evolved from there a little bit. This was also done in May 2018. And back then you have to know that I joined a Facebook coloring group. It was the group of Jan Reading with Parks. And I really loved this group. I'm still in there today. because yeah, many of the Colourtubers that I followed back then are or were in this group. I think there still are, and so I could get in contact with them, which was very interesting, obviously. And yeah, it was we who actually thought that she uses alcohol markers at the base for those Amazon printed books to make the colors more vibrant. And that's what I started to do then. So on this image, I worked with the alcohol markers. I had some Copic like for at least maybe 10 years unused, and they were still good. So this was quality. And tried my first base layerings with them. Also back then, I have to show you now actually my second set of pencils that I got. So my second set of pencils that I got back then was the Faber-Castell Polychromos, which is still one of my favorite pencil sets. So Prismacolor Premier and the Polychromos are my favorite pencils, and you can see that I have used these quite a bit in the past years. And you can see which are my favorite colors, which I use a little bit more, which I don't use for like those greens, hardly use yellows. And then here's my skin color combination with the Polychromos. Back then I did quite a bit of skin with the Polychromos. You can see how small this is actually. In the beginning, I've used the Polychromos a lot more than nowadays. Nowadays, I use them mainly for hair, but this really doesn't do them justice because they are so beautiful and vibrant colors, and I really need to get into them a whole lot more again. So now let's come back to this image actually. So this image was done with an alcohol marker base and then colored with Polychromos, because I used Polychromos quite a bit back then. She also doesn't have a nose, but as you can see, I started slightly to give a hint or a shadow of a nose. So I started to try to implement noses back then, slightly. And then let me show you one or two examples from this book. Also Hannah Lynn, Enchanted Halloween. Yeah, this was also from May 2018. Also no nose, but I just gave like a little hint of a nose back then. This one is also done with alcohol marker base. You can see here. And then I went over with Polychromos. I really enjoyed Polychromos back then, and I think that the colors turned out very vibrant. And I think actually, you know, we do have those double pages in here. And I'm thinking about maybe I should redo one of the pages that I did in the beginning and just see how different it would look. This would be maybe interesting. But I have to say from the color choice that I made back then, I really like this image. So I think I wouldn't change colors on this one, because really I think that the colors are really nice. But yeah, just do the button nose, maybe the hair with a little bit more contrast, more shading maybe. But I have to say that on Hana Lin hair, I do this blended look. On this one, actually not so much. I see some strokes in here. So, yeah. So, and then, was there another one? Yeah, there was one other page that I wanted to show, and it was, to find it first, here. Yeah, so I have to show you this image here. It's also colored with Polychromos pencils. And here I actually started with the button noses. So I started to put in those button noses here, as you can see, but you can also see the graphite on it. So the pencil strokes, I drew it in with pencil, and yeah, I couldn't cover up the pencil stroke. I couldn't erase it, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen it. So this doesn't look as nice, as you can see the graphite in it. But other than that, yeah, quite beautiful actually. So then another artist that I started to color in her books was Jasmine Beckett-Griffiths. And this is a fantasy art adventure. So Jasmine Beckett-Griffiths, was one of the artists that I had started with. And I think this was the first page on which I followed a skin color tutorial. And it was a tutorial by Color and Chat with Sammy. And yeah, so even though this is 19, but this was just the date when I finished it, because for the longest time the background was unfinished, but all the rest was done in 2018, quite early on, I guess. And yeah, so this one of my first skin attempts following a tutorial. And then after that, I also followed a tutorial by Peter Hewitt. She also has a skin tutorial on her channel with polychromos. And this is what I tried out here. I have to say that I struggled a bit, but I have also to say that this paper I think is not perfect for polychromos. I think this paper works best with Prismacolors because it's a little bit scratchy with other pencils. And then on this skin, I try to combine what I've learned from the tutorials and to put in some of myself. So add a little bit of violet into the color, make the shadings a little bit darker. So yeah. And then I love to color those smaller images in this book here on this side. And here I just try out different pencil brands, skin with different pencil brands. And you can see that back then, I have to zoom you in, I guess. I think you can see. Back then I used like a black or gray pencils to do shading. So this looks really like, you can also see it here or on her arms. It looks very like dirty and muddy. And yeah, what a bad idea to use like a black for shading on skin. Naja. So just take a look on the other two images. So those are all done in 2018. And and one of the other books that I started with were the ones by Jade Summer. And yeah, my favorite one was the Vampires book by Jade Summer. And oh wait, here in the beginning I actually do have this one here. Back then you actually got not only the physical book when you bought it, you also got the PDF version. And so I could print this image here on paper. And I tried my Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer pencils on this image. I got a small 36 colored, a small 36 count package of the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils by Faber-Castell, and I tried them out the first time on this image here, and just tried out what I could do with it. After this experience, I realized that I rather stick to pencils, especially for skin or something like that. So this image again is done with an alcohol marker base and colored with polychromos. As I said, I really loved polychromos in the beginning. So that was that. I also used like washi tape for bordering images, as you can see here. And this tip was also by Wee, Coloring at Wee's. I will also link her channel in the info box. She was also absent for quite a while, I would say for 2 years maybe. In the Corona time, she was, I think she just needed some time for herself and dive into other worlds, like gaming worlds. But now she is also back, so if you don't know Wee, check her out as well. And then I colored this image here in July of 2018. And I think I have evolved my skin coloring at this stage already. This was done with the Prismacolor Premieres. So, Jade Summer. So now I also want to show you some printed images, PDF pages, because yeah, I also loved PDF printables back then already, but as you can see, the first pages that I've printed, they are on this very cheap copy paper. Like this, I think it was 100-gram paper. But still the coloring looks okay, I think, as you can see here. But just wanted to show that I have used this flimsy, very thin copy paper for it. And the background was done with soft pastels, so I started to use soft pastels for my backgrounds. Yeah, I switched from colored pencils, and yeah, in the beginning I used the soft pastels quite often for backgrounds. This also is another one, also printed on the same very thin copy paper. As you can see, this image, by the way, is by Adele Lorian. She has a very beautiful coloring book, a digital one. I don't know if it's available as a printed version as well. But yeah, for me, obviously it was easier to get the PDF version. And yeah, I put a lot of effort in this one to color it with polychromos. And I followed just her illustration that she had colored, or that she had created actually. So I tried to follow her colors, and on the background I actually used an acrylic black paint the first time. And then I want to show you my very first video on Colourtuber was actually done with this image, and I just colored this very tiny part of her hair. Showed you the color combination, this pinkish color combination with the Carolage Pablo pencils. This was one of my very first coloring videos. It was just a few minutes long. I was very insecure, very nervous. I can remember that. And I think maybe one of the second ones was this little unicorn horn, on which I used actually back then already the glossy accents. I don't know actually if it is showing up in this light here, but yeah, maybe you can see it. And you can also see that I didn't do any background on this one. So this was already in December 2018. And I didn't want to do a soft pastel background. I thought this looked quite good as it was without a background. So, and then let me show you my first color along on YouTube. So my first color along I did with this image here. So I will link it up there and maybe in the info box below so that you could check it out if you want. So this is my first complete page that I've colored on YouTube. And this one is Jade Summer Cute Fairies. I had this book as a PDF book only. And now I want to show you my very first Christine Karen page that I have colored. And this was done in August 2018. So 2018 was the year in which I really got into coloring, so to speak. I really colored frequently, so to speak. And my first Christine Karen image was a line art version, because back then I was afraid of doing grayscale, because most of the grayscales, they were really dark, and so I thought that it wouldn't be possible to cover up this really dark grayscale, that it would mute down and tone down the colors. Yeah, I really like colorful and bright, and so I showed the line art over grayscale, but I can remember that I actually really struggled with this one because the side view is not so easy to color when you haven't done it before. So, but I'm actually quite proud of this result. I think it looks quite nice, and I will show you now, I think, some, we will go into my more recent images in a moment. Let me actually show you one more older page from the Enchanted Faces by Hannah Lynn. and this is this one. So this image is done in June 2018. I will just zoom you in a bit. So, and here you still can see no nose done. I've kind of tried to give a hint of a nose. This image was colored with the Castle Art pencils. I wanted to try them out on this paper here. Didn't do any alcohol marker base. And yeah, so this was my old Hana Lin coloring, and now I want to show you some examples of my newer colorings. Oh, just one thing I want to mention. So this was actually my second color along on YouTube, and here you can see that I already started to implement the button noses. I will also link this color along in the corner and in the info box below. So, and now let me actually show you some of my newer images. So this is one of my more recent colorings in this book. It was from January this year, and yeah, really like this outcome. And if you compare this to this image, yeah, 2018 when I started, and now I think this is a little bit brighter, smoother. Also, the skin is a lot smoother. It has the nose, the button nose, and I started to use embellishments as well. Let me just show you another example. This also is quite new. This one is from March this year, and I do have actually a video on which I show you how to do the skin. And I will link this also in the corner and in the info box below. So if you want to know how I colored this, how I shaded all the face, then you can check it out. So a little bit of a close-up here. So I think you can see that there was some, some progress. And yeah, now actually let me show you some of my newer pages that I did also this year. So, and this page here is by Darius Sakisoy, and you know, I still love to do this cute style, and but yeah, you can see that the blending is much nicer actually. The use of colors, how I put my colors together. Then for the backgrounds, most of the time I use some mixed media, so water medium, gelatos, Inktense, Neo Color 2, or I also really like to use those shimmer paints. So, and I use a whole lot more of embellishments. So here a lot of golden gel pan or shimmer paints. And then on this one, so this page is by Mariula Budek, and yeah, this is also a very recent page. I did it in February this year. The background is done with gelatos. The paper that I use nowadays is a 160 gram paper. I use different papers, but 160 gram is my preferred paper thickness. So, and you can see embellishments, or maybe you cannot see because I'm filming with daylight today. And let me just show you one more example of a more recent page, and it is actually I want to show you a Christine Karen image, and it is from the Fairy and Fantasy 3, one of my 10 books to finish. And yeah, let me show you this one. So this is how I do my Christine Karen pages nowadays. This is on the thin paper, so, but still, yeah, mixed media background. This was Distress inks, and then I used a stencil and went over with some paste, white paste. Yeah, I used some shimmer paints on those wings and stickles and stuff on her dress. And yeah, these are one of my most recent images, and I will just show you one last example, and it will be this one. So also colored in the book, also used mixed media on the background, used just more embellishment stuff, glitter and so on. And yeah, so that's my coloring journey actually. So I decided to put these two pages next to each other, one from 2018 and one from 2022. Old one, a recent one, and yeah. So this was my coloring journey. I hope you enjoyed it. I also want to tag some people, even though this tag is quite old, but maybe we can revive it a little bit because it is still fun to see where you've come from coloring wise and where you are now. So of course I always like to tag just some of my frequently watched Colourtubers and friends, and these are of course Erica from Elm Colors, Corey from Colorfully Optimistic, and Emma from Emma Colors 2020. So my lovelies, if you are interested in this tag, I would love to see your videos for it. And then I also want to use this occasion to tag some channels that have under 1,000 subscribers. So I find those tags are always very good opportunities to mention some channels that still need some more subscribers or need to grow or maybe not that well known yet. So I have chosen 2 channels, and I will also blend in their names because most probably I will butcher the names. And the first one that I want to mention is Ally Colors 5. Yeah, so the first one is Ally Colors 5, and the second channel that I want to mention and tag is Amaju88. Both of those channels are very beautiful, so if you don't know them, they are linked below, check them out. And yeah, if you 2 ladies would like to join in this tag, I would love to see your video, and please let me know when you put one out so that I can watch it. But yeah, most probably I will see it because I'm following your channels. I watch you anyway. So, so that's actually all for today, my lovelies. I hope I will see you all in my next video. Remember, next week it will be my completed pages video. Don't miss out on that. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to give me a like or a comment. This is always very motivating for me. There's no other sense than only the motivation that it brings to me to create new videos. So, however, take care everyone, happy coloring, and bye!